Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Afghanistan Project Podcast. I'm your host, Beth Bailey, and I'm here today with cases that broke my heart. I'm talking to various volunteers and advocates across the spectrum here in the evacuation world about the cases that they've worked on over the last 4 years that really impacted them. And my guest today is Andy Sullivan, the executive director over at No One Left Behind, national nonprofit, incredible people. Andy's been on a couple times. And Andy, the floor is yours for 5 minutes. I want to hear about the cases that have really impacted you over the last few years.
Thanks, Beth. So there are three, and I'll do them kind of chronologically. So the first one, my interpreter. So I'll just give his last name because his family is still in danger, and that's the reason this one broke my heart. So last name is Ahmadi, originally from Logar province, served with me in Zabul in 2013 and 2014, had served with the U.S. military for 4 years before I even met him, ended up getting his SIV in 2016. Had served in Helmand in the Battle of Marja, had served out to Ghazni, served with me in Zabul, and we did an op into Ghazni as well. And just an incredible human being. Had a brother, also served majority of his time with the U.S. Marine Corps. Both he and his brother managed to make it to the U.S. Ahmadi made it in 2016. He still has family that is in Afghanistan. A father, a mother, another brother, and then a sister. They have not made it to the U.S. And I remember in August of 2021, he called me asking if there was anything I could do, and I couldn't do anything. Totally impotent, unable to help in any way. His father, unfortunately, has passed away since. The rest of the family remains hidden. They've had to flee their home province, live in Kabul now, have a humanitarian parole case that hasn't gone anywhere. I can't help him in any way, shape, or form. And, I reach out to him and I ask how he's doing, and he's got a great family, but his extended family he can't help. And that one sucks because, he was a guy that I spent more time with while deployed than anyone else. I mean, truly, I think I was with him as much, if not more, than I was with my first sergeant. I was a company commander at the time. Was with him as much as I was my first sergeant or XO or any of my platoon leaders or platoon sergeants. Just constantly a fixture because I needed him to communicate to the outside world, both the Afghan National Army and villagers. And so that is the first one. So the second one that broke my heart. So this one, this was in CAS. I was lucky enough to go to Camp As Sayliyah in Qatar with two of my incredible Afghan American colleagues. We helped evacuate or provide evacuation flights for over 460 Afghan SIVs on CAS. One of the ones we couldn't help. It was a man that had a wife and 2 kids, and his wife fell off of his case because the U.S. government said he was still married to a previous woman. And they said this was an issue of bigamy, even though he had said he was divorced. He wasn't bringing this other wife, but they couldn't find the paperwork. And the 2 kids were the kids of the woman who fell off the case, and they were stuck with the decision of what do they do, because she now had to avail herself of the refugee pipeline. She could not travel on the SIV. So what does she do? And basically they made the choice to leave her behind so he could take their kids to safety in the U.S. And the look on her face as they made that decision, pretty brutal, pretty not great. As she was basically resigning herself to maybe never seeing her kids ever again. The third one, relatively similar, Beth. So an SIV, principal applicant was an adult male. His wife, I believe 4 kids. I can't remember if it was 3 or 4. Terrible that I don't remember. But they had a daughter. Their oldest daughter was, I believe, 19. And she was engaged to be married. They understood it to be she was engaged to be married. However, she had signed the way they understood it was this was basically an engagement to be married and signed documentation, but that was interpreted by the U.S. government as her being married. She never had any kind of religious ceremony, never consummated her marriage or anything like that. and was on CAS in the same way as this case I just mentioned was on CAS, and they had to figure out what they wanted to do. Would the mom and wife, or excuse me, would the father and mother, and then the kids leave this girl behind, or what would they do? And the mother was trying to stay with the girl and let the other kids and the dad go forward. And I'll be honest, Beth, I ended up having to come back to the U.S. To try and fundraise for flights, and I don't actually know what happened with that one.
Well, that's almost makes it worse, like where you never, that's just an unanswered question in your heart. Those are tough. Thank you, Andy. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Beth.
And thanks everybody for listening. Tasha Kaur, and hope to see you all again soon.